Hi guys, welcome to Ashley and Pete Travels. Today we are at Catazon in Sarasota, which is the historic home of John Ringling, famous for the Ringling brothers. We're here, we're gonna go inside and check it out. Welcome all friends, hello new friends, let's go on an adventure together. So we're walking up here to go to the Tibbles Learning Center. They have a miniature circus in there, it's pretty neat. I'm gonna preface this video by saying John Ringling actually died with $300 in his pocket, so keep that in mind as we venture around today. So this area is where the miniatures are at. It starts with all the circus coming to town on trains. This kind of depicts what a town would look like, obviously, when a circus comes. So this kind of demonstrates all the setting up, all the cooking and all the preparing. And this would be all the performers. Here's everybody getting ready. I always thought that was Lady Gaga because she's coming out of an egg. Behind some of the displays here, you can actually see the big top, and we're gonna walk around and see that in just a moment. This is all of the preparations for costuming. Peter's back here with his mom. Now, we're at the point where everybody starts coming in. All the guests are coming in to check out the circus. This little vehicle right here, we're actually going to see the full-size version of that right next door. And now, everybody's making it in. This is actually the first of the big tops. It would be where all the animals are held. And even some giraffe back there. After the animal tent, you'd continue on into the main big top. As you can see, there's plenty of seating. In the evening, the lights would come on and the show would commence. So all of this would go on for one day only in most towns, and then everything would be packed up, animals cleaned, brushed, put back on the trucks, and taken into the next town. And besides Lady Gaga, here's my favorite miniature right here. It's an elephant cleaning himself in the river. Such a cutie. But again, everything gets disassembled. Everything's loaded back up onto trains, and they go on to the next town. And this was popular from the early 20s until the mid-50s. Now here are some of the life-size versions of the circus vehicles. These would come into town so that people would know that the circus was on its way. All right, Peter, he's gonna walk on the tightrope. Go ahead. Don't fall, don't fall. Oh. Nice form, nice form. Come on. Yup. No, oh Peter, you can't. You're done. This is harder than it looks. I used to have better balance. Some really neat outfits in here too. Even the elephants would be dressed up in their best attire. And here's one of our local legends, Nick Wallenda. So Lou Jacobs was actually 6 foot tall, and Peter's gonna show you how he got into this car. And Peter is 5'7". Can you drive it okay? And then this is the actual car that he drove. So now we're continuing down the path. All right, the next building we're coming up on is the historic circus galleries. So here is a life-size ticket. Peter, can you buy us some tickets? Are they closed?
There's no one here.
No one here? Okay. Get shot out of a cannon. And now the trains from the miniature are actually here. So we're gonna start at the front. We're gonna start in the kitchen, in the galley here. Continuing down, nice little car. If we keep going, little parlor room here. We come to the first bedroom. Right next to that is a full bath. Then we come up to another bedroom with a bunk bed up top. Looks pretty comfy. Another seating room. I know it's a bunk bed. And finally, the back of the train, where you listen to some records and watch the scene and towns go by. And here's some life-size versions of the ads you would see. And they are quite tall. Some more wagons, very intricate wheels. Now in here, it gives you a little bit of history about the Ringling brothers, and they all have mustaches. Peter wouldn't know anything about a mustache. There's some large bicycles. Peter, stand next to it. You stand next to it. Look at that. So we continue down the path. We come to Cadazan. This was the private home of John and Mable Ringling.
Quite a humble residence.
Yeah, it's small, but quaint.
Yeah, quaint. Some might say it was cozy, like homely and stuff, yeah?
Yeah, it's cute. It's a nice little home. No, don't walk on the pool deck.
No, the grass.
So we just made it inside John Ringling's home. This is the reception room. That's what it would look like. This is the actual original entrance to the building. This is where a lot of different Hollywood stars and a lot of people of the day would come in, and they would be greeted with this view. The Ringlings really liked like an art gallery kind of vibe, so I'm going to show you some of the doors in here. On the back of most of the doors, it's actually painted because they wanted to give you art gallery vibes. And literally everything in this house has some sort of art on it. There's no wallpaper in this house. It's all hand painted. So the glass in the building here is all different colors, and the good thing about it, if it ever blows out from a hurricane or anything like that, the glass company is still in business and they can still replace the pieces. The ceiling here might look like wood, but it's actually plaster. Dining table, they have more pieces up in the attic and more chairs up in the attic. It actually has 26 leaves. So because there is 26 leaves to this table, it was purposely made to go through these doors and out into the entranceway to entertain more guests. So this is John Ringling's tap room. This bar right here was brought in from a bar in Chicago that he went up and visited during Prohibition. They said they had no use for the bar, so he said, give it to me, I'm gonna put it right in my house in Florida. They were not using the bar. John Ringling found a spot for it. All right, as we come out of this hallway, to the left right here is the first Otis elevator installed in a private residence in the state of Florida. So as we come into here, a lot of people like to go yard sailing, buy stuff at yard sales and everything like that. The Ringlings were no
vent right here.
Exception.
There's AC vent.
So the Ringlings were no exception to yard selling. In fact, this chandelier here was from the Waldorf Astoria Hotel where the Empire State Building now sits. That is the actual chandelier from that building. This is a special kind of wood up here. It will not rot. It will not be subjected to termites. It is very rare, hard to get. And Robert Webb actually spent wood. 2 years painting all of it. This room here, the floor is original to the house. Is the dancing room. On the ceiling, it tells all different dances from all over the world. And the 4 in the corner are the American dances, being the waltz, something else I forget. The Charleston is up there, and the other one. These are some mirrors from the 17th century. Okay, so I was wrong. That's the tango, minuet, waltz, and not the Charleston. Right. So in here, this house was actually built around an organ, and if you look, they actually had to remove pieces of the wall to remove the organ so that it could be sent to New York to be fixed. All of these doors, on the back side of the doors, there's actually paintings because they wanted you to feel like you were in an art museum when you were in their home. So if all these doors are shut, there's all different pictures painted by Robert Webb. And if you notice, there are gates here. The Ringlings actually had dogs. They did not have children. They had dogs, so this kept dogs out of places they didn't want them to go to. This room was where they did most of their breakfast. If you can tell, Mabel's favorite color was green, which is very unconventional for a room. Another really neat thing is that they had Venetian blinds, and where this might not seem like a big deal back in the 1920s, it is a huge deal because they weren't around at the time.
We're like Ringling. We have Venetian blinds at our house.
This picture right here was actually replaced. It used to be, which is now in the art museum, it used to be dead dogs.
Really, dogs tearing a man apart.
Yeah?
And if you didn't like them, he sat them on this side.
If he liked you, you'd sit on the other side and get a nice view of the bay behind us here. So if he wanted to make a deal with you, you would sit on the other side there. This is here in the kitchen. This metal right here was made so that...
Sperry's tongs. Sperry's tongs.
This metal will not break. It would dent rather than break one of the porcelain plates here. This here is the kitchen, and the Ringlings had a German cook that loved this stove right here so much that she requested that there be two, and they melded them together so that she was more comfortable. And here is the back of the house overlooking Sarasota Bay. They actually had a boat that would take them to the island across the way there, which is Lido Key, and they would take it over there. When the sun got to a point in the day and they didn't like it, they would go over that side. Over here is the secret garden, and in the back of the secret garden we can find John Ringling. So here is John and Mabel right there. And as Peter walks through here, Peter, what is this tree called?
Yo, mama.
What? What's it called? No, Peter, that is Yo Mama. And this is a banyan tree. This is known as the Blue Madonna, one of the most famous paintings in here. So here's more of the art in here. This is a very big room with very big paintings. This was made in 1889. It was supposed to show all the celebrities during the time. If you look right here, this is Sarah Bernhardt and a few other people in the background who I'm not 100% sure who they are. But this photo is comprised of 641 other pictures the same size, and the full picture actually measures about 300 feet across. So as I said before, the Ringlings were somewhat of millionaire yard sellers. They like to buy things from other rich people of the time and bring it to their own home. This room right here, as well as this room right here, was part of John Jacob Astor's home on Fifth Avenue in New York City. He bought the rooms and brought them down to Florida. This is literal art that I'm walking through right now. And guys, we're leaving now, but here's the art museum grounds. They do a lot of different PBS specials here, I know that. Weddings are held out here, and it's a really nice place. But we're done, and we're going home. Thanks for watching.